I would get
Okay,
slow.
okay, there you
Look,
go.
watch. You've got to be very relaxed. This is a very relaxed part of the piece, right? Because everything else is all the eighth notes running around the B section. Suddenly it's giving you a space to relax and you know, dream. This is a very dreamy page, so I wouldn't even want to rush it anywhere off, right? It doesn't make sense. Is it the dreamiest part of the piece is that page, the D flat section. And he's giving us a little interval of total consolation. And then he's going to get back, right? So you do that great, but here you got to really relax it down. Which means, here's the thing, you can play slowly, but you can play beautifully. And slowly, not be draggy. You could play, you know, you could have the beautiful flowing phrases, make nice dynamic, you know, dips, dip with your wrist. You could do lots of things on that page without racing off somewhere because it's not befitting that page at all. Yeah, see if, I think one of the big goals for us is to have you steady out your playing but still play lyrically and beautifully.
Sure, that's something I'll be working on. I'll try to even use the metronome just to force me to get the steady tempo, and then I'll try to.
Right, but see, that page doesn't suggest racing anywhere at all. There's not one place, in my opinion, on that page where I would race it. If anything, I would get a little slower in places because it's a slow page. It's più lento. Lento is slow in music, right? It's not più mosso, which means go forward, you know, get quicker. It's the opposite, it gets slower. So you want to, it's a poetic page. And if you can, you know, have the patience to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, tie to, ta, dee, 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 1, 2, 3, ta, ta, you know what I mean? Ta, ta, dee, 1, 2, ta. I mean, that's what it's about. Yeah, and take one hand and play the one hand. Take the left hand alone and do the left hand alone. It's slow, and then put it together slowly. You have to have a lot of patience with yourself. Yeah, you need patience, a lot of patience. To be a good musician, you have to be very patient in the learning process. Because it goes from here and little bits, and it gets higher until you're so thankful you got to where you want because you did the baby steps. You know? I mean, that's just the way it has to be. Yeah, so I think you should do that. You should do that. Play the right hand alone. Play the treble line. Because the treble line, it doesn't have too many other voices. Basically one voice, right? There's just like one soprano line in the treble, right? It's not like the first page has more voices, right? It has more voices. This is just a solo for the right hand with the left hand supporting it harmonically. That's a super improvement of the last time I heard that. You really organized your fingering, your rhythm. It's absolutely excellent. Now you want to maybe, whatever you did now, maybe you want to add a little bit of color or nuance to what you're doing, because you've got the fingers down, you've got the notes down, you've got the fingering down. Now, could you play that beginning more suspensefully? that means play it soft and then have the explosive chord so that we lead up to the surprise. You know, like the same tempo, but get some character into it, like this. Soft. Then when you get to this, you'll have suddenly that, right? Because it's easy to go, you know, when you're learning, you can do this, right? You can hear all the notes rumbling through. But now you want to think more of groups of notes and very suspensefully the beginning, because it's P. And then boom on those big chords. But don't go faster. Don't go faster.
Sorry?
Don't go faster, but do the same thing with different character in it. Character, you know, different character. Because you could, this is fine, you know the notes, that's good. But ultimately, you're not going to want to play it in that mood, right?
Sure.
Right. So now I'd like you to take the same material and inject the suspense into the arpeggios before you have the explosion of the thunderous dum. Okay, try that.
Let's see.
Okay, but can you make it much better? But can you? I see. I'm not there, so I can't hear the room that's coming from. Could you make that even softer at the beginning? Like just tickle those notes? Because when you go fast, you won't be able to push down so much weight in those notes. You're going to have to just ripple through them, right? Like this. With the arm, we talked about little circles. Yeah. So can you make it even softer at the beginning? Yeah. Yeah. Now these are very light, right? Hardly heard. Hardly heard. Okay. Let me hear it again because now I have sound. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear it before. Good. Next one. Do the same thing. Dominant. Good. Excellent. That was much better. And I noticed the next part you have mastered the fingering and you know what's going on. Did you do a lot of blocking? Did you block? Did you do that? Did you do that?
I tried to separate the voices.
Right.
And then blocking and then
Very good.
working with fingering.
Well, it worked. It worked because that's a very hard little section.
I just remember I have seen one of your videos where you say you should legato here. So
Well, that has to be legato.
that's my aim. I'm trying to legato.
It is legato. It is
for G and a high G.
Yeah, it's all legato there. It is. I mean, you can't detach that at all. Everything's legato.
Sorry.
Okay, very good. Now, on that section that you just played, where does the crescendo start? Where does the crescendo start? When you start this is soft again, right? It's all soft except for the, and what happens here, also soft, soft, right? But now you build, right? The crescendo really comes on the second page, you start it there, but not before that, right? Be careful. Yeah, because
I just couldn't hear your last phrase.
Okay,
the crescendo?
so the crescendo really starts with the 16th notes. I'm talking about what you just played. On the second page, you have the dominant. That's called the dominant of G sharp minor, right? It's the dominant going to G sharp minor is where it's going to go. That's where you have a crescendo. So I want to distinctly feel that what came before is not a crescendo. It's going to start there. You know what I mean? It's going to start on the second page. So when you do this in slow-mo, let's say you did this. This is soft, right? Is this soft here? Yes. Stays soft. Where does it explode? There it goes. Right? Go back to soft. Now, soft soft again, and
Okay.
that's all I mean. That is where the big crescendo is occurring on this second page, not the first page.
And that on the last measure of the second page.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the second page, the top, that's where you start your crescendo. The other parts, you weren't going to do that, right? There is no crescendo in the preceding section. No. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Except this all is different. That's different. I'm talking about when you came back to this, right? Now suddenly, that really has to drive louder. I'm playing too fast. I'm just showing you it has to get louder there, not before that. Yeah. Could you go back to this? To the page before on the bottom line? Yeah.
Okay. The second part?
Yeah.
Second part?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, lead into it.
Okay. I'm just getting the wrong notes here.
It's hard there. It's a diminished one. That was good. That was good. That was very convincing, that crescendo. And that's very difficult.